we talked about the Somali community. A lot of been critical about not only the fact that they're taking this amount of money, but number two, that they're misusing it, stealing it. But number three, that their community in a very general way has been just so insular. And what if we knew blatantly that their position was, we're going to obey your laws, we're appreciative that we're here, we obey all the laws, but we're never going to like adopt that, what you were talking about earlier, the American core values of individual liberty, of respecting that as a value, American as a country. You don't have to be like, hurrah, I love America, but there's the fellow American citizen mentality is that you still do right by the spirit of the Constitution. You still, but what if there's communities of immigrants here that
they don't share patriotism?
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, and they don't have to. Again, they don't have to do the celebration of it. But they don't. But they almost like don't give a crap about. Like it's so not even in their vicinity. It's about doing right by them, but obeying the laws.
Yeah,
you know. So continue to milk the system. Maybe continue to do this, get their way, but be insular, because that's the word that people are saying. Assimilate or go home. You know, or like what assimilate. We did the process of assimilating without knowing it. So it's hard for us to even talk about what that might look like, but still, what's the expectation of assimilation? Like if we were to say Somali assimilated, like what's this? Assimilate almost sounds very fascist. Like
I say, to a certain degree, I understand that position. You know, you come here to America, people have opened the country up to supporting you guys. We all put money into a pot to make sure that you guys are living your life. But I also look at it also from the other view too. Like I don't really give a fuck either. You know, it's almost like if we want these people to assimilate, like we got to provide them the culture that they would want to adapt. It's got to be a culture of the future, of something that, you know, they can look at us and go, not only do we want to assimilate, we want to be a part of that. You know, we want to be a part of this American dream, of this American culture, of whatever they're driving, you know? And I think moreover, we should focus more on that side of the house rather than forcing people down that road, because for the longest time, that's what immigrants had to do and figure out anyways. But at the same time, there's a lot of immigrants who just are very happy within their own small circle. It's not the fact that they don't respect or appreciate, you know, our laws and the country and what they've done and what the country has done for them. Absolutely. But also at the same time, they have their own cultures, their beliefs, their religions, and their so forth. And they'd rather just kind of stay within their communities and grow it. I've seen a lot of community. I mean, you just go to California and there's a Chinatown, a Korean town, there's a Vietnamese hood, there's a Cambodian hood, you know, there's the whole entire California is Mexican, you know, it's just Mexican part two, you know, and then there's all those cultures into one gigantic melting pot, and everybody kind of stays within their own cultures, but they also appreciate each other's differences at the same time. I would have to sum up American culture into a couple of things. It would be consumption, and religion. You know, like that's what it is. That's
consumerism and religion.
Consumerism and religion. It's what you believe, and then buy all the shit. And that's kind of what America's been as far as their culture has been. A lot of everything, or even our traditions, are built around the idea of consumption, you know, just being a consumer. Like holidays around the season, you know, it's like, yeah, there's something deeper, and there's something valued in regards to maybe some of the religious aspects and some of those traditions, but all of it at the end of the day is just buy a bunch of shit, you know, and eat a bunch of good food and so forth there. So then it's kind of like, okay, then I demand you to assimilate. Like I don't even know what that means now, you know, because I don't know what that means in American culture, you know. Well, like if I was in China, it'd be different. Maybe China has all their very Chinese culture, you know. You gotta be Chinese,
and it's like government driven too. So.
Yeah, it's government driven, you know.
Well, that's why it's a fascinating topic. Meaning, when I first heard some of the rhetoric that was being tossed back and forth about the reactions to this is national news now, about Minnesota being on the map because of it. Yeah, some of the voices were like, well, there's a responsibility to assimilate, or you need to assimilate, you know. But to your point, like, it doesn't mean you have to. Does it mean you have to negate your culture or love the American culture? And I don't think that's the case.
No, it's just freedoms. That's the American culture. It's you have the rights and the freedom to do what you want and not get, you know, in trouble for it, for the most part. And that's what I see of American culture. But you're right though. Assimilating to that, how would you assimilate to that?
And I'm sure there's a large spectrum because it can sound very like fascist. You need to look like us, talk like us. I don't think that may encapsulate assimilate, because it's not about you need to negate your culture and love American culture. But I think there's a part of assimilation where it's like you have a shared responsibility to the country now. And if you view like your presence here is like, I'm just here to get mine
Mhm.
because the government's getting, and I'll just do whatever I can just to not get in trouble. But really it's kind of just like, fuck your couch, like, look, I don't give a shit about this place as long as I get mine. That's that attitude is
Yeah.
very prevalent. And what's so it doesn't mean like negate your culture, and you need language is one part of it, you know. But it's beyond just language, because you brought up good examples of like there's very heavily concentrated cultures or pockets of cultures like your Korean town, like your Chinatown. So how's that any different? And
Yeah.
there's some pockets like the Somali community right now. We live in this space where it is like its own community. It's
It's
a little Somalia. Like
Yeah.
but it's more just like people are doing them. They only want to talk to their own selves. If a lot of folks say we don't speak English, they're just not engaging at all.
And the population is growing at an exponential rate
it's
too.
growing huge.
Like it's huge.
Yeah.
So it's expanding. I
So
mean,
it's incredibly insular,
Yeah.
which I understand the mentality as a displaced people coming into this and, doing right by you and your people. But so what does assimilate encapsulate? Culture?
Assimilate encapsulates. You have to work to pay taxes, but buy shit. That's it. Like you were saying,
But buy
that's
shit.
assimilation of the U.S.
That's right.
culture.
It just boils down to that, right?
It boils down to you
Work,
working,
pay
paying
taxes.
taxes, and then you just sit at home and buy shit for your family. That's
Keep your culture, keep your language.
That's pretty
do
much
all
the
that.
American dream, as long as you're working and paying taxes, because you're putting money back
That's
into.
true.
But you get the people that come here, they can't do anything. They don't speak English. They're getting help from the government.
They're the
Like,
opposite.
other people are helping them to survive and live, but they're not assimilating in regards to
Sharing that responsibility.
paying their
taxes.
taxes
Yeah.
too. That's, I guess, that boils down to that.
and that's the challenge, because I think a lot of the American citizens who are here who are fed up with this shit and they're talking about the assimilation. Part of it is also there's an extended responsibility and a duty as citizens, and that's to figure out the direction of where our country wants to go. Because I think everybody's waking up to this. Everyone's saying so they're paying so much attention to exactly what what's going on. And if you don't care and you're just kind of here and you don't really even care to learn the language and you are just kind of in your own bubble, living in your own communities and stuff like that, where we're all having to support that to a certain degree, but yet you can be easily influenced to a certain, direction and so forth there, then it's kind of like, well, all of us are trying to figure out exactly the direction of the country. Where do we want to go? Like how do we want the US to be on the world front? And where do we want the future to look like, And if that's the case, then like, why would these people care to vote unless they're just being given, like something in return? Because they really don't even understand exactly
like why
or care.
vote. Yeah. What am I voting for?
They're
Yeah,
just
what
being
am I-
told to do. If
they're
you
just-
vote, then we'll give you more
money and we'll give you this and give you that and just vote for us, without really understanding the implications of exactly, your true motives of where you want to be as a country, as a whole, as a community, and I guess that's part of the American culture too, as well, is we're all fighting each other to be the best righteous and understanding society that there is, to the next level of human spirituality or whatever you want to call it. And that guiding principle is built on our religious beliefs. It's built on our traditions, but also is built on the power system of the politics, and we each have a sense of duty, almost, or responsibility to drive that into a certain direction. And if you got just a whole shit ton of people now who are here and just randomly who can sway that really doesn't have, how do I put, a dog in the fight, they're just like, I don't care, just give me more money.
Skin in the game.
Yeah, they have no skin in the game at all.
No.
then what happens?
And
It
their
messes everything
their
up.
vote's just as important as your vote.
Exactly. It's not
It's
like your
equal.
vote values more. It's everything's 1 to 1. So I can understand that that's another huge piece of
course.
of people here too trying to figure things out.
And then what should happens with that too, if they are here, let's just say legally, or if they are here legally, but they're not contributing anything, but now they're doing murders or they're doing bad shit or shit happens
Actual
and
crimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
that's when you can point the finger and say they're not even supposed to be here, you know, if they're illegal, and then this shit happens, this could have been avoided or whatnot. So that conversation comes into the play of
Yeah.
immigrants too.
It could be absolutely avoided because if they're not even supposed to be here, then that's absolutely 100% avoidable, you know?
Yeah, and I just think there's a mentality, especially if you're not supposed to be here, that you're already sort of in a place that you're not either supposed to be or not really your true home country, not your place you call home. That displaced mentality, I think, usually opens the door to feel like it's more sensible to just like get to do whatever you want, rape a girl, do whatever, because I'm already sort of like not home anyways. I have no loyalties to the governing structure here. You know, I'm just gonna do right by me and get away with it. And that's the displaced mentality too. If there's no sense of belonging eventually or having a path to belong to this place that you call home, it's supposed to be your home, really, your country.
Yeah.
And without that, then yeah, there's this mentality that's just you have to be sort of your own outlaw. You're your own outlaw. And I
Yeah.
think you'd feel the same way if you were just plucked and dropped into a random country where you just have to learn on the fly what the norms are, learn what the rules are. You're going to just maybe feel like you're your own outlaw, that you just have to get by. You don't even understand the rules of the country. You have to learn them, but you don't understand why that's the case. You may disagree with a lot of them, but you just have to work at it and make ends meet. And so you probably have that mentality too of just like, you know, I'm just going to do right or good enough to just get by and not get noticed or whatever, not be, you just don't want to be on anyone's radar. You just kind of want to get by. And if you can collect a lot of money, the system milks a lot of money your way. All you want to do is just not be on the radar. You guys heard about all the bribing of the jurors that happened.
I heard something a bit about
Bribing of the jurors?
Feeding. But this is what feeds into to the vitriol and to the,
oh, it gets uglier.
yeah, it gets uglier because that's, so to your point of, I can identify with the displaced immigrant who's just making, if the government's giving me money, man, that's on you guys. So there's truth. But but the greed and the rampant just money hoarding is so nasty because when Feeding Our Future was on trial last year, they had a jury, and this is when they were first discovering all these things being prosecuted about misusing funds and blah, blah, blah. And there's a jury there, and there's a Somali lady, I forget her first name, it's like Adin Muhammad Ali or something. I'll try to remember her name, but she had a bag of about $120,000. Or I think she was given like $200,000. She kept like 80 for herself because she was assigned to sort of do this role. And so she had a bag of $120,000 and left it at one of the jurors. They were able to identify one of the jurors and left it at the juror's house. Wrote a note saying there's more where this came from. You know,
How come I don't get opportunities like that?
it's just so crazy. It gives you an insider look to the mentality of like, we're doing whatever we can to just do right by us. Like even if we'll go to any extent. Like it's just so like not only you know that you got caught in this whole scam and stuff, now you're just doing everything you can to buy your way out and just
you're competent of your wrongdoings. You know, it's not like you were dumb and things happen. No, you're very well competent in doing it to figure out how to try and slide your way out of shit too as well when shit gets hard.
And just thinking that you can just throw money around because that's how you guys value money. You have so much of it now.
Yeah.
And you think you just throw money around and buy people's loyalty. And the juror they selected was a younger person of color. I don't know if it was
So did the juror do it? Ooh, I hope it did. Keep quiet. You got caught, or
my
the juror
opportunity.
like reported? Yeah.
No, I think it was a female. I think she did report it. She called.
Good for her.
Yeah, so good for her. And she reported it.
That's a rarity to find these days. She deserves a medal or something. Man, we should all know her name. That's
right.
sad, you know, because
I think
that's an amazing thing for
I think it
some
might
people.
actually be anonymous for a reason too, because it might make her a target too. But anyways, but still, kudos to her. but yeah, so they report, but that gives you that insider look again about just the degree of just degenerative behavior, just sort of
Mhm.
this carelessness of money, of handling money, just carelessness of justice, duty, carelessness of even that you just buy your way out. There's no like, there's just that's where it gets too difficult to manage with this community getting larger, and then with this sense of like, well, if anything's said, you have to be sensitive about that too. But it's more about the property taxes going up and all that mixed with all that. That's the tough part to navigate all that. That's why when the news dropped about all this, it's just like, there's no way to really navigate this, without calling out the ugly for what it is, the ugliness that is, while trying to identify it as with immigrant mentality too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I get what you're saying too as well when you were mentioning the assimilation part and trying to figure out what our responsibilities and duties as citizens as well as immigration goes. I think part of it really is also just I understand the sense of patriotism now, and I understand the sense of pride, or maybe nationalism even, because it's like you take that ownership and you take that pride that you're calling the US, this country, your home. It's not an Airbnb. It's not a partially rental place that you're just staying at temporarily and you're leaving. No, this is home, And when you take that that responsibility and you take that vow, then you take care of home, and that's where I think the direction of the country is really taking a cold hard look at it. And they're going, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of the citizens. We need to take care of this country. We need to fix all the wrongs and make right. It's like when you own a home, you clean that shit. You take care of you take out the trash, you fix the bed, you wash the floors, It's only when you don't care and you don't have that sense of ownership that you don't give a shit. You stay at an Airbnb, it's just like, fuck it, I'll shit on the floor. You know what I'm saying? It's like
no skin in the game.
there's no skin in the game. Yeah. So I think that's part of the culture of where it's leaning towards too as well. And I think that's where a lot of us US citizens are really looking at this entire big picture with all the scamming and all the shit that's going on. And they're going like, nah, like we need to do better. We got to take care of each other right now, because right now shit is hard and shit is dirty, and things are bad, for the country. And why are we importing so many people who don't give a shit, who really doesn't care, who would rather scam the system right now? And again, it's so difficult because it's like, you can't even speak in these terms because you got to look at everybody as an individual. And you can't look at an entire culture or an entire group of people. And that's where all the idea of racism goes in.
Yeah, no.
But okay, then let's just look at the idea of just immigration itself. I don't care what color skin you have or what country you came from. Like, do you want to be here?
Yeah.
And do you take a sense of pride of calling this your home now? And I think immigration from the past has always been that kind of sense of duty where people, they are fresh off the boat, and they see, the Statue of Liberty and they look at the country and they go, wow, like this is America. Like Dad always calls America "Techo ba ming," he always says that, and it's just like,
which translates to what?
Translates to like country of great value or great wealth,
great opportunity.
Exactly. Great opportunity. And you look at Dad as an immigrant, when he came into this country, like Dad he never complained. I mean, we had government assistance, but we never were given these big handouts. We never got anything back. Dad never missed a single day of work. And he was there early every single day. He worked his full shifts. We never saw him, and he never complained about the white man and said, oh yeah, this. No, he just said, hey kids, I can tell you right now, education is the key.
Yeah, your ass better do good.
You better do good.
Pretty much the nail.
You failed in school, you're out of the house. Like I disown you. That's all it really was, because he in his head felt like education was the key to unlocking the wealth of this country, and that's what he thought, because that's what he believed. Everybody, his superiors that he worked for, had higher education than him, and he thought that this is the key to prosperity here in this country.
And naturally, language along with education, your education system, language, that is a part of assimilation.
Yeah.
There's probably a longing for that sort of assimilation. I know Mom has had that. She's always wanted to develop better grasp at English, and And so that's a natural part of what assimilation might mean too. With that, the whole like dad wanting that assimilation, that education is the pathway. Otherwise, you're going to be doing menial work, menial labor. You have to be educated to sort of open pathways, and language is a part of that too. And
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know at what point, that we look at our immigration system honestly, and we approach it in the best way where it's still a humanitarian perspective of supporting people who really need it, but also at the same time look at it and go like we're all fucking broke right now. We gotta do us. Until we figure out how to do us and do what's right by us, then it's really challenging to help others. I don't know what that balance is, and I don't know. The only thing I would hope that doesn't happen is that a race war does happen and a lot of people get hurt. A lot of
race
innocent
war
people.
is just a distraction. Then that's really, I think it is. I don't think. Yeah, and that's why it's so hard not to racialize the conversation, because perhaps it was born in a time when you couldn't mention race about anything. Like you again, there was a sort of a cloak of immunity post George Floyd about the nature of certain sensitivities towards marginalized people of color, primarily Black people. And so it was probably born out of that. But now it's like, this, don't racialize this. This is fraud. And I think that's the general sentiment too.
Yeah.
I think there's already been some sort of fighting back with even the mayor of Minneapolis about the defending the immigrants and saying defending our community. And
Was that Jacob Fry?
Yeah, Jacob Fry. And then Ilhan
Omar.
Yeah. There's a sense of already pushback of like making it like this is not about attacking the Somalian community and the race, or making it a race thing, or sort of, which is, again, I think it's the deflecting it. It's the not taking the share of responsibility there. Because to your point earlier, you mentioned about the whole skin in the game. If the immigrant mentality sometimes feels as though you're just trying to make ends meet, your vote, what does that matter for? You're not really sure because this isn't your true home, that you don't really know what the skin in the game looks like. But I think the only thing for the Somali community, at least, that would counter that is that you do have someone who holds office that represents very much your community. So there is a sense of skin in the game and responsibility to the country with Ilhan Omar. So there's a sense of like, we ought to know the skin in the game. We're in the game.
How did she become so rich though?